Xin chao. Hello, and welcome to this introduction on ePortfolios. My name is Cristina Beans. I'm a senior project manager here at the University of Alicante with a principal background in managing Erasmus Plus capacity building and higher education projects and similar, particularly working on projects that support students' employability. And the session I'm going to share with you today are knowledge and results developed in the devices project of Erasmus Plus, which I'll tell you a bit about the end. But so first, let's get into this wonderful world of an ePortfolio. So you might be wondering, if you've never heard this concept before, what is an ePortfolio? Well, portfolios have been something that have been around for almost forever, as long as there have been artists, for example. The concept itself, portfolio, the term, comes from two words, port, which means to move, something that's portable, and folio, which refers to papers or artifacts. So a portfolio is considered a portable collection of papers or artifacts or both that can be presented in a variety of formats. It's a place to assemble records and products of learning or work that can help someone get new work opportunities. So think back on artists who have their giant folders where they're carrying paintings or examples of their drawings to showcase, or architects that have sketches and examples or photos of their work, houses they've designed. So it's things that you would show to a potential employer to showcase what you can do, what they have done to get a new commission. So the question we might ask ourselves, is this an old idea that we're bringing back or simply a new presentation method? I'll leave that to you. One definition of ePortfolio is that it is a digital collection of works, reflections, and evidence to document the skills, the experiences, and professional project of sorry, I meant professional progress of the person whose portfolio it is. It is different from a traditional CV. They should not be mixed or confused at all. A traditional CV is a simple list of statements, bullet points where you state cold facts of what your diplomas are, your work experience, and so on. You're telling what your skills are, what your diplomas are, what your results are. Whereas in an e-portfolio, instead of telling, you're showing. There's a greater possibility for interactivity. There's an emphasis on continuous growth and a greater level of personalization, which can be very attractive, especially to young people and our students in particular. The main objective of having an e-portfolio is that it supports reflective learning, it improves a person's communication of their skills, and it enhances their employability potential. So if we look at another definition for it, an e-portfolio is a purposeful aggregation of digital artifacts created by the learner, articulating and evidencing experiences, achievements, and learning. So purposeful aggregation of digital artifacts. This means basically that they have selected each item that they want to include in the portfolio, a digital version of it, with an objective in mind, thinking of a particular person they want to share it with, or a platform, a network of people to share it with, in order to showcase, what they have learned, how they have learned it, what they have thought of it, what has been their process in the learning experience or the work experience. Their e-portfolios are student-owned dynamic digital workspaces in which students can capture their learning and their ideas. They can access and share their collections of work to reflect on their learning. They can set their goals, career goals, or learning goals, and evaluate their progress. They can get feedback from professors, from colleagues, employers, and they can showcase their learning activities. A key idea here is that it is student-owned. Student-centered learning is part of this aspect, and it gives them a greater sense of purpose to create their own space, a greater chance to develop their own creativity. And not just for students. Staff, anybody, people started using them as students have continued using them afterwards because they can provide anyone with great benefits for their professional growth. Creating e-portfolios, developing this skill stimulates reflective learning. It allows someone to continuously document the skills they have acquired and both showcase and look back themselves on their growth over a period of time. It helps to strengthen a professional identity through personalized narratives, and it facilitates long-term career planning. And yes, thinking this, it also contributes to your employability because you are able to demonstrate your skills in a concrete and visual way, sharing evidence of projects, sharing feedback from people involved, and certifications as well. It helps the person to develop transversal skills, particularly self-reflection and self-presentation. And it's a very useful tool for professional networking. The e-portfolios can be shared with employers, with potential employers, with colleagues. And well, as coming to employers, it allows you to share with these potential employers much more information that they could find in a traditional CV. And indeed, a survey of employers found that over 80% of them considered an e-portfolio would be a useful tool in ensuring job applicants have the necessary knowledge and skills, much more than a simple CV. And focus groups of employers have found that the majority of them view e-portfolios favorably, and many of them would be considering to view not willing, sorry, would be willing to view an e-portfolio if they were provided with a link in an email or in an interview or even as part of the CV. So let's go into the nitty-gritty of what is an effective e-portfolio. What are the key components to be included in it that you cannot forget? Well, of course, a personal profile, the presenting a person, who they are, who are their values, their goals, what do they want to achieve. Photo, mandatory. Then there must be evidence of their skills, not saying what they've done, but showing what they've developed, how they developed it. So they can showcase examples of work, projects they have completed. There has to be personal reflections, share what they have learned from their successes and from their challenges and how they overcame them. And it can include feedback and references, so testimonials from colleagues, teachers, supervisors, that helps validate these content and allow the person to verify, make sure this is real, valid. As I mentioned earlier, a key aspect of ePortfolios, and especially when considering the point with academia, is that it is a student-centered pedagogical approach. And it's going to support self-directed learning and self-assessment by the students. Promotes the development and use of digital technologies, which, as we all know, are a key competence in these days and age, which all of our students must acquire. And it encourages their active and personalized teaching for the professors who are using these in their classrooms. If we look at the differences between an e-portfolio versus a traditional CV, well, as I mentioned before, when it comes to the content, your typical resume is just a list of credentials and work experiences, implying the skills and knowledge you have. Whereas in a portfolio, you're listing the skills and the knowledge, maybe also giving learning experiences and credentials, but you're showcasing these skills, this knowledge. You're showcasing that you have it, not just saying you have it, showing it. The development process of a traditional CV is simply a way to keep track of formal credentials, employer addresses, and job descriptions. Whereas the process to develop a portfolio is to spend time examining the learning experiences and understanding and evaluating the skills and knowledge acquired through each one of these learning experiences. The traditional resume, the perspective it has on learning is mostly through the formal institutions with official credentials and work experience that are valued as the learning opportunities. But an e-portfolio can also allow you to showcase and sorry, my tongue's a bit stumbled. Um, Allows you to showcase the fact that learning happens in both formal and non-formal situations, and that all learning has value. Then format, CVs are short and factual, straight to the point, your bullet point list. And portfolios can be much more comprehensive with a broader lists that can be cross-referenced with actual skills, knowledge and job, training requirements, include very many types of content, which we'll mention a little bit later. For validation, the traditional resume just has credentials, and you can have the employer's references, which is an unchallenged proxy for learning. The employer checks it or doesn't. But in the portfolio, there's different forms of validation. So in addition to actually showcasing your knowledge and skills and providing credentials or references, there are actually testimonials by people you have worked with and your bosses or fellow students. And finally, the purpose of the traditional CV is straightforward. It's to get a job. And although the purpose as a portfolio is also very useful to help you get a job as well, but its purpose is more for career planning and development, more developing your own skills, helping you prepare for appropriate work and or training. And as I mentioned before, very useful to help you get a job. Got 3 examples here that I'm going to link you to in my browser. Afterwards, when you get the presentation, or you can see it in the Moodle, you'll have the direct links to these so you can browse through them as well. So for example, if we go to this first one by Dr. Natalie Van de Poel, you can see she has her homepage introducing herself, a bit of her background, her education, her research, her reflection, realizing that she did not want to be a researcher. She did not want to be a professional microbiologist, and going through this reflective on how she decided to do a career change and getting her new position, and mentioning that this portfolio she created as part of an exercise she had to do. She's got results of her work done here in section instructional design, showcasing things she's developed. For example, let's look at this lessons plan one. She said what she showcases enjoys writing lesson plans, and shows these work, using them, reflecting on it. Professional development, certifications from conferences, workshops. So this is a bit more similar to traditional CV, but you can download the certificates, further verification. Science communication, you can look at her doctoral research, linked to her Google Scholar profile, and so on. So this is Dr. Van de Poel's ePortfolio. We go on to another one by Jared Azevedo, more clean-cut homepage, starting introducing himself as an aspiring software engineer with multicultural and multidisciplinary background. Throughout my life, I have focused on and developed around 3 key values: passion, leadership, and curiosity. So this goes through then further down the life achievements. On one side, into the bullet points, highlighting their key things, and another one, developing it in writing. In Sky, going in through the word, see different, you look at experiences as well. He shares here the experience on the work he's done, contact page, and the link to his LinkedIn. Third case, Mackenzie Fisher, mechanical engineer, passionate about sustainability. Here she's also putting more of the focus on her passion, with, as you can see, with the choice here of being out in nature. Again, saying a bit about herself. She's a student at mechanical engineering in Stanford at Lerner, and showcasing a fun fact about herself, being an Olympic gold medalist in water polo. She wants to showcase one of her passions, which is hiking, and her fun project of taking photos of sandwiches in the places she's hiked to. Makes it original, makes it different. For the portfolio itself, sorry, we have to wait for this loads. It's a showcase of designs that she's worked on. You click on any one of them in her classes, she shares the objective of the creation of this, the result of it, the process on how it was in it, the different designs created, how they went to it. She reflects here on the skills learned, the technical for different aspects, and then a bit of the results of the article where it was shared. You have a pancake flipping robot. And so, okay, so you can see how she's been able to design and share. It's just going back to the presentation. As I said, you'll have the links to these afterwards in the Moodle, so you can feel free to browse them yourself and get a feel for the differences between them and how each person has chosen to showcase their skills. And also you've got links to many more examples that you can use, and also platforms that can be used to create these e-portfolios like Mahara or Google Sites e-portfolios. But some students have also done them simply. Professors have asked students to develop these using Word or creating their own blog or their own space on Blogger or what's the popular one now? Sorry, the name escapes me. There's simple web tools that you can use nowadays to create your own website. So let's look at the process of creating an e-portfolio. It's basically 3 steps in a bit of a circular level. The first step is collecting and selecting the materials, considering the purpose. Why are you collecting these materials? What are they for? Considering the audience that you're going to share them with, and as a result of that, then you select the content that you'll have. Then you need to reflect on this content, these materials you've stated, relate with them, assess what you have learned, develop through it, and then publish it. You have to project, share this portfolio through your networks, showcase it, and so on. So let's go through each of these steps. So step 1, collection. You're working with your own files. So it's private. Many e-portfolio platforms have this private section where students can collect and upload their own documents, or you can do it yourself with your own, Google Drive space, or Dropbox or similar. And in this first element, you're going to collect these materials. It can be personal materials, such as things that you have written or photos taken, designs of projects, videos, any production or reflection that you have that documents your own professional actions and development and learning. They can also be collecting materials from others. For example, student work that you have been a part of your team. It can include testimonials or collections from colleagues, external acknowledgements, certifications. And another element is allowing you to collect a diverse group of materials that can contrast one another, text, videos, photos, anything useful to share your own professional practice. Then there's the reflection, the connection phase. You have to put all this together so that it constructs a narrative, collecting these materials and presenting them in the e-portfolio so that they can present the evolution of the professional competences and the knowledge and skills, helps to identify the personal learning modes and really begin building the person's own digital and professional identity. And key element here is that each piece of work must be accompanied by a commentary and reflection, clarifying why it was considered significant. And this can be the most demanding step because a lot of people, well, they're not used to this reflective process and thinking back on why they chose it, what they learned from it, or really showing the learning professor. Because as we mentioned, the reflective process is central to professional development and is a key aspect of the e-portfolios. Then the third, projection publication, projecting it into the future, identifying which objectives you achieved in your professional growth, your learning, and what are your next goals? Where do you see yourself going next? Comparing between the competence profile that you wanted to achieve and what you actually achieved, for example, and really make the plans for professional improvement and then share it, showcase it with the world or simply with employers or friends or colleagues. And well, as I mentioned earlier, this is a student-centered approach. So we have some quotes here from students involved in this process. One said, I thought I had an interesting story to tell. It was something different. Everyone's will be different, but I thought there was a fair bit of unique stuff in my story. Another student says, I love just tinkering with it, with the ePortfolio, or playing with it. Even when I wasn't sitting down to do a specific job on it, I was thinking, I wonder if I can do this. Another learner said, it helped me analyze the type of learner that I am. It gave me a new perspective on how to go about studying or doing assignments. And finally, another quote, I was a lot of fun. I learned as I was doing, and I was amazed by the whole outcome. So in conclusion, whether for yourselves or for your students, consider the ePortfolio as a good step towards your professional future. Remember, it's a dynamic and flexible tool for personal and professional growth. Investing time in its creation brings significant benefits. First, employability, not to mention the development of digital skills. And institutions, teachers, companies who have promoted the systematic use of ePortfolios state that it is a valuable tool to develop a rich and reflective professional identity. And remember, in our global knowledge economy, learners must be able to apply their skills and competences to new situations in an ever-changing world. This means that students are going to have to develop a self-directed and self-determined approach to learning and to career development. We're talking about lifelong learning processes here. Students need to be able to reflect on what they've learned, how they've learned it, and how it links to the labor market in this modern and digital age. So I would like to invite you to follow the Devices project. I'm sharing here with you the link to our website, and through the website you can also follow our social media channels. Devices is similar to Dive, another project that is co-funded by the European Union. And in this project, we are introducing ePortfolios to students in universities in Vietnam and Cambodia through the development of a cross-curricular digital workspace to support the development of their reflective practice, employability skills during their personal and professional development. Basically, we're creating an ePortfolio platform in these 5 partner universities. And we'll be telling all about it and the process and how it goes in our channels. The project just started this past year, so of course, it's all very new. There are references that you can check in later, so come on. Thank you everybody for your time. I hope this was of interest. I'm available if you want to get in touch for more information. And of course, thank you for joining the Dive project and have a successful implementation. Thank you.